Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffy Kennedy, author of fantasy romance and romantic fantasy. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. Uh, Latte happy dance. Today is, y'all gonna say it with me? Today is Friday! Woohoo! Additional chair dance, September 24th. It is also release day for The Dragon's Daughter and The Winter Mage. Additional chair dance! Woo! It's a good day. I've been having a debate with some of the authors I'm in the anthology with about release day. And this is an ongoing debate about which people have opinions. That's with the capital O, just in case you didn't hear. And, it's a funny thing. So here's your background for those of you who don't know this, um, is that Tuesday is traditionally, also with a capital, um, release day for books. This comes from traditional publishing, very traditional. We're so much tradition. And the reason for this is because the bestseller lists are compiled on Wednesday, published on Wednesday. So they're like compiled Tuesday night and published on Wednesdays. So, in order to give a book the best chance of being on a bestseller list, and this goes back, we're talking, you know, well, probably close on coming 100 years. I'm not sure when, like the New York Times started its bestseller list, but, this is a long time. Uh, so they would want to give it a book as much of a chance as possible to reach the number of sales to be on the bestseller list. So it would be on sale. If you released a book on Tuesday, then it would be on sale for the entire week before they start counting, because they would like count sales through, whatever, Tuesday morning or Monday night or what have you. So that was to maximize the possibility of getting on the bestseller list. And some people still do it that way. Some authors are really invested in trying to get a book on the list. Um, and we could talk about that, because there are people who also do all sorts of contortions, like the book bundles. And I could see if I could talk about that some. A lot of self-publishing strategy is built around trying to get on a bestseller list. A lot of people want to get what they call their letters, like the USA Today bestseller, so that they could put on their USAT bestseller. Um, a lot of people claim bestseller if they've hit any kind of list, like if you've hit someone hits the top 100 of their subcategory on Amazon, they'll call themselves a bestseller. Uh, it's very funny to me because I have never, to my knowledge, hit either the USA Today or the New York Times bestseller lists. I know I haven't hit New York Times. I don't think I've ever hit USAP. I don't look, and no one's ever told me. Um, and people started calling me a bestseller before I did, because I was kind of determined not to use it unless I like actually hit USAT or New York Times. And now I use it because everybody else started using it for me. And I have hit, like for Amazon and, you know, Barnes and Noble and those sorts of things. So it's like, well, whatever. I'm not going to tell people to not call me a best-selling author. Please don't call me that. Right. So I just kind of gave up on that, whatever. But, a lot of people really want to get that so that they can put on their USA Today best-selling author. And, I just don't think it matters, folks. I don't think that the readers really care. Um, I understand that for a lot of authors who self-publish, that it's a kind of validation that you don't get otherwise. And if it's really important to you, great. But, if you're like doing these book bundles, and And this I know people that some people will invest thousands of dollars, to get in on some of these book bundle deals so that they can get their USAT letters. And it's like, if you have to pay thousands of dollars to get it, is it really meaningful to you? I mean, if it is, okay, great. But what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. So I cling to my fantasy that one day I'll have a book on the New York Times or USAT bestseller list, and that it will be meaningful to me because it got there on its own merit. And we could get into a whole conversation about whether or not, um, merit has much to do with it, and marketing, and how all of these things work. Uh, because there are, statistically significant studies that demonstrate that the more marketing is put into a book, the more likely it is to succeed. Shocking, I know. And that's what traditional publishers do. So that's what that's why Tuesdays. That's where Tuesday came from. And so now a whole lot of people release books on Tuesday because they think that's the day you should release books. Um, and even people who aren't necessarily trying to hit a list, the ones who are really doing trying to hit a list in a very calculated way, go for Tuesday also for obvious reasons. But anyway, so we were talking about releasing the anthology that we're doing, Fire of the Frost, and we have the cover. So we can do a cover reveal soon. It's a really neat cover, you guys. And we can, but to do cover reveal, we need to set the pre order date. So right now we're debating release dates. And people are wanting to push it back a little bit more from where it was because everybody always needs more time. And that's fine. Um, and so I'd suggested a Thursday or a Friday because I just don't think Monday matters. And obviously, I like a Friday release date because, did I mention, Dragon's Daughter and the Winter Mage released today? Shall we do additional chair dance? Woo! So happy I got that book out in time. Um, so so yeah. Sorry, I got distracted by my own happy dance there and sheer relief at having that done. Um, but one of the other authors was saying, I mean, there was unnecessary to my mind, Sturm and Drang. And if you're listening, dear author friend, it's not you in particular, but it's like, people spend a lot of time thinking about, you know, when are people on social media? And so, it's like, well, we shouldn't release on Friday because people are on through Thursday and then they disappear over the weekend. And I know Grace always says that to me, that, you know, social media becomes a wasteland on the weekend. This does not match my experience, and it could be that, like, I'm on a different rhythm than everyone else would be, which would be very in character for me. But it's like, it's the Godfather. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Does it really, really matter? But I hear people talk about this all the time, calculating the, well, what is, you know, and I think a lot of it comes from the fact that we can't control so much about publishing. We can't control how readers receive our books. We can't control whether or not we sell a lot or a few. Sorry for the clunk. I had to adjust here. You know, and there's, even though we know that there's no magic formula other than pouring a whole lot of money into something, we know we still try to find it. And so it's this whole, well, what is the best day to release a book? And I ended up putting my foot down on a particular date because it meant that I would be having to deal with um, formatting and uploading and so forth uh, over Thanksgiving, and possibly on Black Friday, which is a day that I go lady shopping with my mom and my stepsister. I say lady shopping because it's not like we go to Walmart and stand in line at 4 a.m. or something like that. We go to the outdoor mall and we buy things for ourselves, and occasionally we get Christmas shopping ideas, but mostly it's buying clothes and having a really long lunch with a lot of wine. That's how you do lady shopping, and it is one of our favorite days of the year that we go and do that. So um, I don't want to have to be thinking about that. Plus, the fact that between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, uploading books at this time is just, I want a little bit of room around it. So, um, yeah. So, it's a funny thing, all of the strategizing and so forth. And I understand, I do understand why people want to try to control these things. But I think, it really comes down to that there simply is no magic formula. Um, I don't know that it matters what day you release a book. I think, in particular, when we are setting up a pre order, because we have from now until December 2nd or 3rd or whatever we decide to do, um, to to talk to people about the release. So that's where I'm at on that. I just think it's maybe it's all part of the asteroid blasting system that I talked about yesterday. And I wanted to thank you all for the lovely comments that I got on that. Clearly, I really struck a nerve. The delightful Lexi Chantal, who writes as, I have to look it up, AC Anderson, the Mars Strain audiobook. She wrote a really nice blog post, which I'll link to. I will also sneeze. Ragweed pollen is like extremely high. It's been extremely high for weeks. It's going to be extremely high for weeks. It's like it's the ragweed pollen doom around here. Write that into your post-apocalyptic story, people. Okay, you don't have to. Anyway, Lexi wrote a really nice blog post, insightful on her own experiences and in reaction to what I was talking about yesterday, which is that I don't think that the thick skin metaphor works for us. And I think I think it's significant that so many people reacted to that and have said, this is the wisdom that I needed to hear today. Lisette commented that on Instagram. Several other people commented in various places. I love how you guys come at me on all the social media. People say, "Well, where's the best place to comment?" And I should like set up a place so that we could have actual conversations. But I don't care where you come at me. Message me. I like hearing from you. Um, but yeah, so it struck a chord with Lexi. It struck a chord with other people. I mentioned it at Writer Coffee because it was still on my mind. And Jim Sorensen, my sometime collaborator and beta reader and good friend. Jim is great. Jim really gave me what I needed yesterday on. Uh, Stop it, you guys. No double entendres. Uh, Intellectually, as a fellow writer, he told me some things I needed to hear, and he liked the idea of I thought he had latched onto like the whole you know, lasers to blast the asteroids of rejection and doubt. And he was like, maybe what we need are runnels. So of course he went straight to armor, and it's like, he loves the Transformers thing. He's a niche expert on Transformers, G.I. Joe. Um, but I think that there's something to that the idea of a thick skin is just not that helpful to us. Um, and I think to me, armor doesn't work as well for the same reason, but I could see why it does work depending upon your particular mindset. Because, like an armor with runnels, like a chest plate, is something that you can take off and put on. So, you don your armor for particular sets of circumstances. and use that to make all of the nastiness run off, slide off of you, water off a duck's back. See, that one doesn't work for me either because, I think of ducks as being kind of vulnerable, right? Ducks are prey animals. But anyway, I think that all of these things that we do, like strategizing release day and, you know, what does the cover look like and, should it have this or that? It's all attempting to control something that's fundamentally not within our control. And I had someone direct messaging me yesterday asking me for advice about, like Facebook groups and stuff like that. And she was saying, well, like that she's thinking about getting rid of her own Facebook group because it's exhausting. And, like you have to post a certain number of times a day in order to get engagement, to keep it going. And, and she says, well, I want to get rid of it, because it is exhausting and I don't feel like it's doing anything. And she said, but, according to everybody, that's just not done. That's not what you do. And it's like, you guys, there's so much freaking advice out there. After a while, you're just going to have to pick the things that work for you. And I mean, absolutely nothing against this gal because I totally sympathize. And I told her, I said, you know what, Marie Kondo that shiz, and which made her laugh, which was good. But it's like, if it does not spark joy, you guys, it is not worth doing. I don't care how many advice givers out there tell you that this is the thing you have to do. You have to have a newsletter. You have to have a Facebook group. And if you have a Facebook group, you have to post umpty million times a day in order to maintain engagement, or you are doomed. No, what you have to do is you have to write the next book. That is, I will insist that that is the one thing you need to do, but that is the thing that is within your control is the writing. Write the stuff. Write it to the best of your ability. Write it the way you want to write it. This is also advice for Jeffy because I need to remember that. And that's part of what Jim told me yesterday. And I said, I'd arrived to that piece of advice on my own. And I said, but I really appreciate you saying it to me too, because it's like, that is the only thing you can do is write the way you want to write it. That's the only way to get the voices out of the room. Stop those people from looking over your shoulder the whole time. And we live in an era where we have a lot of eyes over our shoulders and we have a lot of pressure, not just from the advice givers, but also from people like Zuckerberg and the Facebook people. Of course, that's what they want us to do because it serves their ends. Um, they don't care if it sparks joy. They don't care if it's exhausting. They want us to keep their animal going. Feed the beast. Do some people make it work for them? Probably. Do other people not? A lot of people don't make it work for them. A lot of people don't like it and stop doing it. Um, I had drinks with a friend last night who said that she's deleting her Facebook profile and she was talking about how hard it is to do because like you have to go 30 days without logging in and all of this, but she's removing it from her life because you know what? Because it doesn't spark fucking joy. And we can make fun of Marie Kondo, but that's a really easy way to look at things. Because as I often say, don't be a writer because you want to make a lot of money. There are people making money and that's great, but you're much more likely to make a significant amount of money working for somebody else. Go work for a bank, go be a grocery store checker, um, get a job where you have benefits and insurance. But the reason that we're writers and not grocery store checkers or bank tellers or stockbrokers or what have you, corporate America jobs, is because we love to write. And you have to keep coming back and finding that joy. Find that sensitive, open part of you that loves the writing and wants to write the book and not care about how many times a day you're supposed to post to Facebook. That stuff ultimately it's all noise. It's noise and sturm and drang. And just let go of it. Just do the things that you enjoy doing. Engage in the ways that you enjoy engaging, and let the rest of it go. Um, the what is or is not done is you have to remember a lot of this advice is like a couple of years old, right? I mean, we haven't been doing the whole Kindle Unlimited thing all that long, and we haven't been doing a lot of the self publishing stuff all that long. So there's useful advice, sure, but we're not even talking about more than a decade's worth of evidence, right? Um, I was I told you guys that I recently put up that series on Kindle Unlimited, Sorceress Moons, all 6 books now available on Kindle Unlimited, and I'm trying to figure out, like it's getting page rates, and I'm trying to figure out what is a good number of page rates. So I asked one of my friends what was a decent number of page rates, and she was saying that she's really happy if she gets it up to a particular level, and I won't say what that number is because that could be just her. Um, and she said, but she can only get there with really aggressive advertising. And I was looking at the dollar amount she was making for that number of page reads with the 0.004 cents per page, and it's not very much money. And I was thinking, well, I wonder how much money she's spending on ads, because I know there are people who spend, like because I've heard them give talks. They'll spend $20,000 a month on ads in order to get, they'll say, well, that the whole point is to try to get twice as much back as you spend on ads. So you spend 20,000 on ads to get 10,000 in sales. Does that make sense? Well, to get 40,000 in sales. So like you'd make another 20,000. That's the whole goal. And I guess if you can get that to work, that's great, but not everybody can get that to work. And meanwhile, I'm making more money per day with just sales wide, um, significantly more than that with spending nothing on advertising. And so maybe I'm in a privileged position, but it just makes me think that, that this wisdom that everybody sends around, it's like, it's not one size fits all. You have to figure out who your audience is and what you're actually, how you're reaching people and why. If you're just robotically posting stuff to your Facebook group in order to please Zuckerberg's algorithm, stop. Just don't. So that's a semi long rant today. I went a lot longer. You could tell I'm a lot more refreshed. Thank you, all of you who wished me well on refilling the well. I didn't do much yesterday, and it was really nice. Um, I was going to say one more thing, but I don't remember what it was. Oh well. Uh, so yeah, happy release day to me and happy Friday to all of you. Um, it's really great. I love that you guys are excited for this book to come out. Oh, I know what I was going to say is that the main reason that I'm putting Sorcerer's Moons in Kindle Unlimited is to reach a different audience. Um, I don't know if I'm going to be making as much money on it as I was. Some people think I will be. It will be interesting to see. All right. On that note, I'll remind you all that First Cup of Coffee is part of the Frolic Media Podcast Network, and you will find more podcasts that you love at frolic.media/podcasts. And I will talk to you all on Monday. Have a fabulous, well refilling weekend. Um, Polish up those laser guided missiles, avoid the asteroids, and you all take care. Bye bye.